Hi, hello, I'm Savannah if you're new here, and today I wanted to talk to my little baby EWCers and give you guys advice. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to all of you who have gotten into EWC. You should be really proud of yourself. It is not easy to get into. And to those who have not, in case you're watching this, I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to feel bad. EWC is very selective. I understand how hard it is to get rejected. I personally was rejected the first year I applied. Realized that you can apply again, but also there are so many other things that will come to you in life. Just keep a positive attitude and keep trying. EWC is not the perfect path. There are so many other things you can do. So I'm actually done my 2 years at EWC. I studied at EWC Costa Rica. You probably already know that, but just in case you don't, I feel like I learned quite a bit from being there during those 2 years. So I just want to pop in to say I think it would be really sweet if you guys commented your names, where you're from, the EWC you got into, and the year of graduation. We can see if we can get someone from every EWC to comment below, and also maybe like the comment of the students which are also attending EWC you'll be attending, and you can see how many of you guys you can get in the comments. So for example, I would say I'm Savannah, I'm from Canada, I attended EWCCR year graduation 2020, and do that with yours. I'm assuming a lot of you are going to be from 2022, but I just want to see who's watching my videos and create a cute little space for you guys. So yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about is establishing your priorities. The thing about EWC is that there's so much going on all at once, and it can take a while to adjust. So going in knowing what your priorities are will help you quite a bit. I mentioned this before, but there's this idea of the 3 S's, meaning sleep, socializing, and studying. And the idea behind it is that you cannot balance all 3. And while I don't think that that's necessarily true, I do think that it's good to know what is most important to you. And so that when you are faced with the decision between going out with your friends and sitting and studying for a test, you know what to do. Of course, I think the ideal is to try your best to balance all 3, but knowing what you want to get out of your UWC experience will be very, very helpful. This sort of leads me to something that I feel a lot of UWC students experience, which is FOMO. I think it's much easier said than done, but you should embrace FOMO. The thing is, there are so many activities, there are so many people you could talk to, there are so many things you could be doing, but trust me, if you feel like you need to sleep, if you feel like you need to study a little bit more, if you think you need to be spending time on something which will benefit you and your mental health, you and your physical health, make sure that you're doing it and that you don't feel bad for missing out on things. It is totally valid to go to bed early. It is totally valid to not go out. And it's really, really difficult as an incoming student to feel like you're missing out on everything, but trust me, you're not. The people that are doing everything are probably exhausted and are gonna burn out. So take it slow. You have 2 years. Just do your best. So the next thing is something you can do before attending. I experienced almost frustration with the group chats. It definitely shocked me, and it might have shocked you, how active the UWC group chat of your generation might be before attending. And know that you do not need to take part in it if that is something that stresses you out, if that is something that you don't care too much about. Honestly, you can't fully get to know someone online. In these group chats, there are mainly a few people active, and there are a lot of people that mute it or don't even take part in the group chat at all, that don't even have Facebook Messenger or don't even have WhatsApp, whatever you're texting or chatting on. Trust me, there are people that are not there. And if you don't want to be there either, that is totally okay. What I felt before attending was that I was almost making assumptions about people that I did not know based on the messages, and I really didn't like this, because the problem was I started to dislike people before even giving them a chance. The funny thing is that someone that I really didn't like over Messenger ended up being one of my closest friends. So I want to say that if you don't want to be active on those chats, if you want to not read any messages and mute it all, do that. That's what I did. So this tip is for those who have friends that are also going to be attending, or people that you already know that will be attending. And that is, don't stick with the people you know already. Don't stick with your friends. It's really, really easy to fall back on the people that you know if you're in a situation and an environment where you don't know anybody. But trust me, it is worth opening up and talking to everybody. I knew 2 people going into UWC that I had actually met at PSYL, which is the seminar, like a summer youth seminar at Pearson College that I had done 2 summers prior to attending. So I knew 2 people. one of which was a very, very close friend that I applied with. This is a complete coincidence, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but okay, my battery died, so if everything moved, I'm sorry. Alright, so what happened was that when we arrived, we sort of made an agreement to make our own friends separately. The thing is, we didn't want to influence each other's decisions on what friendships we would make, and we knew that we would always stick together and be friends in the end. So we sort of put energy on creating our own friendships and talking to the people that we wanted to talk to individually before coming back together and maintaining our friendship. That worked out for us. I feel like that's something that is pretty important in the sense that it'll make it more easy to truly get to know people. Put yourself out there. Try not to be so afraid of that. It's so worth it in the end, because you're definitely going to make friendships that will last you a lifetime. Actually, on the topic of friends, I wrote a few notes in my first week as a first year, and a few of them were about the friendships, so I just want to stick these in here so that it sort of goes together. So one of the things I had written down in my first year was don't rush into things. I felt like people were really quick to make things go as fast as possible, but friendships occur naturally and they don't happen very quickly. Another thing I wrote down was you cannot get to know someone in the span of a week. No matter how much you think you might know them, you don't. So give it time. Understand that it may take months to find who your true friends are. I think it really took me until the beginning of my second semester to actually establish who my friends were. It was very scary. Like, I had never experienced a situation where I felt so lost, like I had no friends, and the reason for that was because although it appeared as though everybody around me also had friends, they rushed into it, maybe made their own decisions, maybe just felt comfortable too quickly and realized that those were not the people that they wanted to hang out with in the end. I took it really, really slow. I tried to talk to as many people as possible for as long as possible until I had truly figured out who my base was. Also, your friendships will continue to change into your second year. I think once your second years leave and you become a second year, so many things change. And if you guys want to see a video on tips I have for firsties becoming second years, I'd be really happy to make that too. There's a lot that can happen in 2 years, so don't feel stuck with the people that you talk to in the beginning. Along those lines, try not to make a group right at the start and realize that people aren't one-sided. It takes a while for people to be fully genuine, and that's why I really only made my friends in the second semester, because it took a while for people to show their true selves and to stop putting on that fake happy kind face. Because I think when you go in, it's really, really easy to be overly nice and overly excited, but just realize basically that people aren't gonna stay like that. So wait until you truly establish your friend group. Another thing I wrote down as a first year was try not to stress out during the first week. Take it easy, make it fun. Don't worry if you feel super uncomfortable, if you feel out of place. It is totally okay. This one kind of relates to my pros and cons video, so if you haven't seen my pros and cons on UWC, I'll link it up there, I think. But you don't have to love every part of it at the start. You don't have to love UWC. You don't have to love every little thing. You will learn to love it as long as you have the right mindset. But trust me, there were things I didn't like. There was things I was freaking out about. I was thinking, whoa, they sent me to the wrong place when National Committee was so wrong. Just give it time. Eventually, everything will settle into place. Okay, the next part is more so about the academics. If you can establish your study techniques beforehand, people can fall into two pretty large categories, which is I study all the time and that's all I do, or I don't study at all and I party and I go out and I have friends. Thing is, you can totally be in between, especially if you know what works for you. If you've ever heard of Pomodoro, which is the technique where you do 25 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of break, you can also do 45-15. It's basically just studying and then taking short breaks between everything. If you know that you work well by using a checklist, if you know that you work well by setting alarms on your phone, by setting hourly schedules in an agenda, if they're established beforehand and you're fully aware of how you are most productive and most efficient, that will give you the best result in terms of a balance. Along with that, if you have organization tools, an agenda, a bullet journal, a phone app, use it. This is kind of a random one, but I was faced with the question, what kind of music do you like? A lot at the beginning of my first year. I feel like it's pretty common to be asked what kind of music you like because in at least UWC Costa Rica, there's music playing all the time. When you get to UWC, it will be a lot of small talk. Get used to answering pretty plain repetitive questions a lot. And that's one that I struggled with for some reason. I was afraid people would judge me. And honestly, don't worry about that. A lot of people aren't gonna remember your answers. They don't remember names. It takes a while for things to just not be surface level, I guess. Try not to fall for peer pressure. The thing is, pretty much any UWC will have some sort of hookup culture, will have drinking and partying, in some cases clubbing, and you do not have to do that. It is fully up to you what you choose to participate in and what you don't, and those kinds of things are not necessary in order to make friends, in order to have fun, in order to just have a good UWC experience. You don't need to do them. During my entire first semester and most of my second semester as a first year at UWC, I didn't go out like ever. I think I can probably count on one hand how many times I went out, and that's okay. Later on, my second year, I felt like I wanted to, so I did, but that doesn't mean that you should feel pressured to do that. There will be people that don't go out as well. That's another group of people you can meet. There are so many opportunities to get to know people, and trust me, it is so much better to do what makes you feel comfortable and get to know people in those circumstances than to push yourself to do things that you know you're not going to be happy doing. With that being said, I think challenging yourself is the best way to learn. You can only learn when you're uncomfortable, but don't feel pressured to do things you don't want to do. You can stick to your morals and your values. You don't have to fall for other people's ideals of what is right and wrong. Craft your own experience. It is only yours, and don't let anyone tell you what to do. The next thing, something that I feel people fall into very, very easily, which is creating a very stressful and negative environment. Try not to bond over the fact that your assignment is going to be handed in late, that you're having so much trouble with the academics, that you really hate something that's going on. Instead, if someone tells you, yeah, I'm having trouble with this assignment, I don't know if I can hand it in on time, encourage them. Tell them, hey, you can do this, you got this. Even if you have shit to do, don't project it onto other people. Now I'm coming down to my last two, which I think honestly are so important. So if you take anything away from this video, it is these next two tips. And the first one is your UWC experience goes by so fast. Be really grateful for the entire time you have there. Trust me, people will tell you it goes by fast. You might not believe them. 2 years is nothing. Like, literally, it is nothing. So something I tried to focus on was remember when you wanted what you currently have. It's a quote that really resonated with me because I had wanted to attend UWC since I was 10, so it had been 6 years. So having this quote on my wall really kept me in check, really kept me grateful, and it also reminded me that I was living out my dream. And the final thing, and honestly, if you didn't listen to the last one, listen to this one. It is literally the most important thing. Enjoy your summer. UWC will consume you. 2 years of your life will be literally entirely UWC related. Once the IB starts, the IB doesn't end until you graduate. It is a lot of work. It is overwhelming at times. It will completely take over your life in the best way possible. However, I think it is crucial that you enjoy your summer, enjoy being back home, enjoy not having that much work to do. If any, you shouldn't have any work right now. You're going to a new school and I don't think UWC gives you homework before attending. I'm like, Minerva. So enjoy it. I know COVID is happening, which is kind of shitty, very shitty, but try your best to just relax. You'll thank yourself later. I'm not saying you can't put energy into getting excited about UWC, but make sure that's not the main focus of your thoughts. Spend time with your friends, spend time with your family, be grateful for your home. You're gonna miss it. Even if you don't get homesick, you're gonna start to realize why you love your home so much. So while you're there, while you have nothing to do, just be present. Being present and being grateful for what's going on in your life right now is what's going to keep you happy. It's going to help when you look back at your experience knowing that you were fully engaged with what you were doing at the time. That goes for the summer before, that goes for during and after. Try not to be so futuristic with the way that you look at the world and the way that you navigate your life, because I know that it's easy to fall into that. It's easy to think that, oh, but everything will be better when whatever happens, but that's just not the truth of things. Speaking of which, this is not really UWC specific at all, but I had written down something in my journal a few months back and I feel like this is very much on topic. Oh, speaking of journals, if you keep a journal, it is the coolest thing to look back on. You don't have to, but I just think it's a really fun thing to read over, especially because it does keep you present, and it also makes you realize how many amazing things you've experienced in your life. This is in and outside of UWC, but during UWC, it's pretty freaking cool. So I just found it, so I'm gonna read it to you. We tend to live for tomorrow. We think if we can get to a certain point, get that thing, be with that person, then we will be happy and live life fully. In doing so, life passes us by. We simply live a storyline with our mind in the future instead of living now. We live for a hypothetical then. We need to step out of that future to live in the richness of the present. Let go of your storyline. Alright, so I think that is everything I can think of right now. That's all I had written down. I hope that this helped. Acknowledge how much work you put into your application. Realize that you should be so proud of yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys very much. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.